ones are going to be first over the wall. Guess I can settle the score at the same time. That ringing in my ears again. It'll be peace and quiet when you're gone. Damn it! I would have had you! Don't you dare think you've won! I'm nobody's dog! That damn noise again. Freelancer, you're doing this, aren't you? Make it stop. Make it... It's inside my head. You're all laughing at me, aren't you? No, you... Different. I've been waiting for this freelancer. I became part of this monster, so I can crush you. This time, you will die.
Iguazu, dispose.
It's always so easy for you. The old gen who can do it all. What makes you special?
You were a mistake, Iguazu. Irregular.
This ghost of me won't last long. Leave a spot for me in hell. I always envied you. The freelancer who had it all.
There can only be one. G5 Iguazu, also known as the man with the most powerful inferiority complex in existence, is not a man out here for RUBICON or the corporations. He is a man who exists only for himself and his ego. As a traveler of the multiverse, our G5 has decided to settle in his timeline, which is why no other versions of G5 is allowed to exist. Join me as we embark on the true ending of Armored Core 6, a journey where G5 Iguazu kills himself in a video game. I might just say pruning variants from going forward because I kinda like Loki the show. The rules of this run are simple. I use the Headhunter preset, I can't drop any weapons, and I try to choose story options how the character would. Basically, I'm taking ball missions and pruning as many G5 variants as I can. The first stop is some beginner missions. While the first couple of missions are considerably easy, it's dawned to me that, hey, G5's build sucks as much as his personality does. G5's build is a Melander C3, which is typically a pretty decent frame. However, he only carries 3 weapons instead of 4. He carries a Curtis linear rifle, a Lulao machine gun, and a basic 4-cell pistol for offense. This is not a lot of firepower. The Melander C3 arms also doesn't have enough recoil control to handle the Curtis and the Lulao firing simultaneously, so my accuracy is majorly bad. The Headhunter also has no core expansions because I guess G5 isn't cool enough to have even terminal armor. One good thing about the Headhunter is that it has the main tan generator. This generator is probably, in my opinion, one of the best in the game. Yet, because of the generic booster G5 has, we can't really take advantage of the main tan. Another good thing about the build is that it has a shield. If you didn't know, shields in Armored Core reduce incoming damage and impact by percentage based on their stats. Essentially, I'll have to become a perfect pairing machine if I want to eventually prune all G5 variants, because I don't have a lot of offense. I have to focus on defense. Oh, and also I'm usually terrible at pairing in most games I play. But anyways, I teach the test pilot what it means to be a real red gun, and then proceed forward.
Great, an independent merc. Who's the wise guy who decided the red gun should be taking care of some freelancers?
The first challenge is, well, my good quote-unquote friends G4 and G5
Think two good-for-nothing maggots from the Red Guns, Gun 4 Volta and Gun 5 Iguazu.
in the damn mission. I am shaking with rage because this mission took so long. Fuck G4. Friendship was G4 terminated and ejected outside the airlock. This is where I realized that I have Nerf guns. Going up against the tag team duo, I ran out of ammo several times. The loadout and the Curtis does tickle damage compared to the might of the 120mm grenade launcher. The Dizzy G4 has does this weird and wacky thing where the notification for it launching only comes right as the grenade is exploding. So also, pruning my variant proved to be very difficult because the general biped buffs and the shield that G5 has made it so that his headhunter is almost as hard to kill as G4 with these PP weapons. Thus, I had to figure out strategy. Figured out the perfect firing cycle for the headhunter. I need to use the loadouts until it was empty and just hold shield to fire the Curtis while I was reloading. It's pretty simple Daka cycle, but this combo gives me the best options in offense and defense. It's also really boring, and it takes a long time to kick into effect. In fact, I was looking at the bottom right ammo counters rather than looking at the screen most of the time. Oh, and using the charged linear shot was no-go. The charged linear rifle shot stopped me from moving, and anything that isn't moving is super vulnerable to getting rammed by G4 Volta's heavy attacks. I also noticed that, hey, if you just kept firing the Curtis and the loadout, you'll actually do more damage to staggered enemies than just by using the Curtis charge shot. Another strategy that helped immensely is by getting G4 stuck on the terrain. I think this is something to do with the new speed changes. The patch might have broken something because G4 got stuck a lot. Either way, I had to maneuver around the map so that G4 would get stuck on the corner and ledges, or else the tag team duel would obliterate me with sheer firepower. Finally, with the Tetrapods' noble distractions and good shield blocks against the grenade launchers, I will finally manage to beat G5 and G4 with 1,427 AP left. I think I only managed to hold out because of the shield. The shield protected me at precious moments, and I'm starting to really appreciate its value. It's going to serve me very well going forward. Next, I must protect the Strider in order to progress on the All-Mine path. I find that G5's arsenal is particularly suited in bullying the weak drones, which I guess is what his personality is all about. He's kind of like the Flash Thompson from Spider-Man in a way. The school bully that eventually had their being consumed by a hive mind of sorts, but eventually managed to take control with their ego intact. I'm a big fan of Agent Venom, so playing Iguazu here, I imagine him as an alternate dimension Iguazu that is here to right his wrongs. Next up, us real Red Guns are going to climb the wall, and climb with Shao. I take a detour towards G4's grave and spit on it. Then I defeat the Tetrapod guarding the entrance before meeting this disgusting Archibismer, Rusty. The boss is of no concern because I simply fly over the top and mag dump him in the back. Another job well done for Iguazu. The next mission is interrupting the mandatory inspection, which is a banger of a mission because it throws the Cataphract and 2 PCA enforcers at you. The Cataphract by itself is already a hard boss, but thankfully, Kate, aka All Might's VTuber model, is here to distract the other forces. I gave this mission my utmost attention, as it is an important point in the campaign storyline. This would have been really difficult if not for the almighty power of the shield. Blessed be upon this simple shield, it really saved me from the bullshit laser attack of the Cataphract. I simply don't have the boost distance to get out of that laser, but if I block it with a shield, it's not so bad. The damage reduction really saved me, because if I was running any other build, I probably would have been returned to dust. Another good news is that this battle arena is small, and that means the Cataphract has nowhere to run. from the might of the Ludlow Curtis Ratatat. Once again, G5 lives on the edge, but he lives. And I finish off the PCA patrol with only 906 AP. To become All Mind's husbando, I have to defeat the current champion, Sula. Normally this would have been a straightforward operation, but he decided to turn this into a game bane. G5, the petty man that he is, will remember this tactic for the future. Nevertheless, the peons are no match for the amount of DACA G5 is putting out, and I even let Sula watch as I was killing his minions. There's one thing that I'm really sad about though in this timeline. Valteris has really fallen behind the times. His nerfs, as well as the general buffs to ACs in the last patch, really makes him look kinda easy these days. Even G5 can break his personal bubble and shove Valteris into a locker because the missiles are easily avoidable and the cannon shot just feels slow. Truly sad times for the once champion of filters. After cleaning up the cleaner, it's time to take a side job as a Windows defender. I took out the hackers in the base but ran into the other variant G5 on the warpath.
Huh. You're the freelancer from the dam raid.
He cannot be allowed to continue roaming in the G5 name.
And here I thought I'd just make some extra scratch. Guess I can settle the score at the same time.
He must be eliminated.
I see the coyotes got some help too. Don't forget to smile, tourist.
I heard about you climbing the wall. Bet you think you're hot shit now. Well, you're making a mistake. You're gonna die, freelancer. You psycho or something? We're both in trouble here. They're ringing in my ears again. It'll be peace and quiet when you're gone.
Usually when villains show up again in a storyline, they will have upgrades. However, G5 doesn't have any upgrades yet. The only thing he has here are voices in his head. Well, guess what? I also have a voice in my head, and she calls me Stud Muffin. This little variant can pretend that he's a threat all he wants, but in the end, without G4 to back him up, it's just a piece of cake. The Sea Spider is a rather unmemorable boss. I just shoot, I stagger, and I win. The only moment that made me sweat was at the very end because the Death Star laser managed to bring me down to 179 AP. I was really cutting it close with these missions, but again, we triumphed. Iguazu triumphs. The PCA felt like a big joke after beating the big boss Cataphract. They are simply dirt upon G5's boots. This is a man that will conquer the world to feed his inferiority complex. You think he's gonna stop with a simple warship or two? No. The shield is capable of bringing down gods, and you think one HC will be able to slow down Iguazu? No. For this is Iguazu's time to ascend. Even as the PCA unleashes its terrifying weapons of mass destruction, Iguazu will not back down. Maybe through his resets, he's finally learning something about himself and his AC. You see, Headhunter isn't a bad AC, quite the opposite. With good instincts and fundamental pairing skills, Headhunter can be quite the PvE stopper. No, it was Iguazu that wasn't enough all this time. His trauma over his upbringing, his obsession with 621, and the grooming by All Might, all of his experiences has led him up to this point. And under our guidance, he shall ascend to Koro godhood. I stomped the ice worm, I killed the nip cannon, and I murked Cold Call in cold blood. Then comes the Enforcer. I am reminded once again that, oh yeah, maybe there's a reason why Iguazu is ranked low on the arena. He has a pea shooter problem of small damage and no stagger punishment. It takes forever to take down the Enforcer's health. And also, there's another problem. See, if you dodge the Enforcer's attacks, it won't make a follow-up attack. However, if he hits your shield, then there will be a second melee hit coming. This makes it so that even perfectly blocking attacks against his boss isn't as valuable as straight up dodging. And remember, the boosters suck, so Headhunter isn't going anywhere. There is one place where the block is very useful. The Enforcer has a high damage lance move that triggers when it's at low health. It does a charge into a multi-hit. The shield will nullify the multi-hit follow-up attack for some reason. It's a little inconsistent how this works, but I'm not gonna question it. I beat down the Enforcer and push further down the Koro.
You think you want Koro relief, but you don't. Shovel down your bland rations. Slurp your coffee-flavored sludge. Sure, it sucks, but that's being human. Maybe now, get some sleep. See you on the other side. Nasty.
I eliminate V3 O'Keefe to satisfy All Might, and Arquebus, as expected, sends his attack dog against us in retaliation. He who is rested cannot be, in the shiny future, envisioned by Iguazu. He must be destroyed. I might have gotten carried away. It's now time to fight the insurmountable forces that is True ACs with multiple heal packs once again. Except this time, instead of a large map where I can maneuver and use friendly forces, this time it's in a tight asshole of an arena against V2 and G5. God fuck V2. Relationship with V2 Snail ejected out of the airlock. I have the tools to technically deal with both opponents, but it's very, very tricky. You see, shields can nullify the static accumulation coming from V2 Snail. Static is kind of like the bleed of this game. It accumulates us to the point, and when the bar is full, you'll be damaged and mini-stunned. V2 is a major damage dealer when you least expected it. Not to mention that the rest of his kit just hurts like hell when you're staggered because he has the stun needle launcher. Good thing for us that the shield blocks the stun accumulation, but it will not protect us forever. We need to hit him back, and that means dropping the shield and firing the loot out, which also means he can out damage us with his taser. Iguazu, on the other hand, has abandoned the way of the shield hero in favor of a laser orbiter and a couple other upgrades. Good for him, because I guess he actually can deal some damage now as opposed to me still using the nerf guns. Both of these opponents also have assault armor, which means I can't get very close or I'll get blown up. In the alternative dam mission, we at least had a map to tactically abuse. This time, it's like fighting in a gladiator ring to the death. One stagger in this free-for-all will cost me 4,000 to 7,000 health. I died many times in the pursuit of glory. The main problem was dealing with V2 first. Iguazu appears when V2 burns through half of his total HP reserves. It's not too hard to bring V2 down, but it's extremely hard dealing with Iguazu at the same time. Although this is supposed to be a battle royale, the AI hates me and will go out of their way to eliminate me first. The problem I've had the most is that after killing V2 Snail, I will run out of AP and ammo. which is about the same problem that I had dealing with G4 and G5. There's just too much HP for me to burn through, and I had to get really conservative with ammo. There needs to be a balance between trying to kill V2 quickly and saving enough ammo for G5. At least the linear rifle basically never runs out of ammo. I can see why everyone thinks that the player AC is legendary now. Most of the arena ACs aren't meant to take on challenges like this. I had to really push myself to confuse target locks. This involves short hopping, dashing in zigzags, and some aerial maneuvers. The skill of throwing off target lock over shielding will become very important for now and in the final boss. In this case, even with all of my evasive maneuvers, the pressure is thick. G5 now has 3 guns firing me at all times, and V2's decisive melee arsenal keeps my boost gauge active. I managed to get close and destroy V2, closing his story early. Then, I focused my sights on G5. After wearing it down to the wire, I defeated G5 Iguazu, and we are now, finally, under All Might's protection. We finally turn our sights to the final battle. All Might, as expected, only gave us her protection so that we would do her dirty work, and betrayed us in the end to hail the G5 variant as her champion. The Banchao personality is dwelling inside the best war machine the Institute ever developed. This is a battle that I tackled over 50 times with various tactics and 3 builds. This is a battle that almost broke my soul, a battle that I could probably write an entire video around, but it is here and I will explain. You know how an onion has layers? Well, this fight has layers to it that you slowly peel back using the world's worst knife. The first layer is a squad of drones escorting the mine hopper. Then it's the mine hopper mech itself. Then it's Iguazu escorted by 2 speed spiders, and then it's Iguazu pulling out the fucking pulse greatsword. So in the face of overwhelming odds, I tried to upgrade my AC as well. This was a bad idea, and I'm starting to think that every upgrade the character gets within the game are bad. Last time the Ortiz was bad, and this time the 51003K is also bad. I'm just going to call it the Mine Hopper from now on. The biggest problem of this AC is that it doesn't have any ammo. The Kurosawa has the worst ammo issue in the game, and I was already running out of ammo with the 4-cell missiles and Lulao. I simply don't have enough ammo to carry me till the end of the boss fight. In addition, oh yeah, the other weaponry is a laser floater and a Lulao, which doesn't do that much damage on their own. Everything in this build revolves around landing the Kurosawa, and that is a little bit frustrating, because the only benefit from this is that you get a lot of stagger towards the second stage of the boss. But in the first stage, the ACs are maneuverable enough to just simply dodge the Kurosawa if you try to blind fire them. And the Lulao and laser orbit isn't enough to deal enough stagger to make them stop in order for you to fire the Kurosawa. The frame itself is pretty decent, and it could be a good missile carrier or a laser frame. However, the weapons are so mismatched that it makes for a horrible playing experience. The Headhunter at least had a simple firing cycle, and the Mine Hopper rotations for weapons are awkward, unreliable, and doesn't actually do that much damage. Therefore, I went crawling back to the Headhunter, and let me tell you, it was also awful. The first stage is pretty straightforward. I walk towards the drones, I kill them, and then I focus on the Mine Hopper. But I have to play around the Kurosawa cooldown or else I'll lose too much health before the second stage. The second stage is where things really becomes difficult. I don't know why, but Iguazu and zip around instead of fighting at a normal range. In addition, when he does get close, he does lightning fast laser shots that I usually can't dodge with my current boosters. I would hear the alert and it would already have hit me, or if it's the multi-hit laser, I'm not fast enough to dodge them just by strafing, so I have to boost around, and sometimes, it's not very reliable. I'm always going to get hit. Therefore, I have to rely on the shield a lot for defense. Funny thing about the shield, if you don't carry the melee attacks, it seems like Iguazu will mini stagger you even through the shield, which means I suffered a ton of damage trying to play defensive. Plus, the attack patterns of Stage 2 Iguazu are sometimes just completely unavoidable with the Headhunter. It just doesn't have enough speed with the boosters that it have. Therefore, the only option here is to use the shield to block. You can kind of play the shield game versus enemy ACs, but the boss have way more DPS output, so that tactic has fallen to shame. It is a losing battle. You keep playing defensive, and therefore the only way to victory is to go all in. In about an hour and 20 minutes into grinding this mission, I remembered that, hey, the Headhunter got a slight upgrade in the mission was V2. He put the Mine Alpha arms and the laser orbiter on. I also put the BST booster on because technically it's still made by Balaam and I think they might have upgraded, and the BST booster is on. It is on the Mine Hopper. So, not technically cheating, I guess. I don't know, maybe that was code, but the Headhunter Mech 2 also had Assault Armor as a core expansion. This build actually works. It's a far cry from a good build, but we're finally going the right direction with the Mine Alpha arms, with its impressive recoil control, and the laser orbit for more damage. One of the biggest problems I've had was running out of ammo, and the laser orbit will help immensely with that, and also the assault armor too for damage. This version of the Headhunter might not have been the best one to run through the entire game with, but it's the right one for the job right now.
You killed me. Not just once. Well, there's a whole lot of us inside of me now.
Iguazu, this body won't last.
Guess it's time.
Raven, Alma's going to try something. I've got an idea too. Raven,
That damn noise. It was you all along. I'll kill you and the freelancer.
Air, your siblings will surely welcome us.
now, Raven.
Dispose of them, Iguazu. Iguazu, you are one with All Might. No one can stop you now.
I said I don't care about All Might. You want some of this? I'll give it to you.
My biggest problem with the run was always the last phase. Iguazu really go all in and will crush you if you're not careful. Therefore, it is time to bamboozle the shit out of Iguazu's targeting. You see, the melee combatants, they hate floaters. Being aerial provides a lot of advantages against the horizontal hitbox of the melee combatants. This is also something that works really well in multiplayer. I stayed in the air against the various assaults, dodging and weaving with no repair kits left. Fueled by hatred of this boss, this is the run that will bring Iguazu to ascend the portal godhood.
Raven, now's your chance.
Iguazu, dispose.
It was always so easy for you. The old Jen who could do it all. What makes you special?
You were a mistake, Iguazu. Irregular.
AP at 50%.
I always envied you.
Finally, we reach a place of clarity, cleansed of the sins of the past. G5 Iguazu has brought a new world into being, a world where he no longer fears not being good enough. For he is a creator of new life. We've answered the question. Yes, you can beat Armored Core 6 as G5 Iguazu. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Consider joining my Patreon if you liked it. I'm going to be working on some other stuff, maybe some Gundam, maybe some Cyberpunk, maybe even some anime. But I will return later to finish AC6 with Can You Beat Armored Core 6 as Nightfall Raven. Please get some water, touch some grass, and I'll see you next time. Ciao.